And you know what? I'm having a little bit of trouble putting into words just how upset I truly am after this game. So I'll just give you guys a little visual demonstration instead. How about it?
Coach, Coop, Coach, Coop, Coach, Coop, the Coach Coop Show. Coach, Coop, Coach, Coop, Coach, Coop, the Coach Coop Show. The Coach Coop Show. The Coach Coop Show. The Coach Coop Show.
An embarrassment for the ages. North Carolina thrashes Miami. Miami Hurricanes prove once again that they're not legit. UNC makes history against the Canes. Those are just a few of the headlines that I saw popping up immediately after this game. I literally feel physically sick. Like, I'm not even kidding. And on top of all that, I'm embarrassed. I was even one of the guys that was willing to cut this team and this coaching staff a little bit of slack this season due to all of the unique circumstances with the pandemic and whatnot and all the craziness going on in the world, but not after a performance like that. We are most definitely not a top 10 team, and we would not be any other team that's ahead of us right now. Period. And you know what? I'm having a little bit of trouble putting into words just how upset I truly am after this game. So I'll just give you guys a little visual demonstration instead. How about it? And you know what? Also, fire Blake Baker. I'm just going to be straight up and honest with you guys. On that first drive when we got that field goal, but then North Carolina marched down the field and got a touchdown, it was over. I didn't want to admit it, and most other Canes fans didn't want to either, but North Carolina asserted their dominance on that first drive, and they continued to dominate us for all 4 quarters. And the reason I'm finally on the fire Blake Baker train is because we gave up a school record 554 rushing yards. Yes, 554 rushing yards. I can't defend that, bro. And the reason you heard a little chuckle in my voice when I mentioned the 554 yards is because I have to do that to stop myself from crying. And then out of all the things for Manny Diaz to say in the press conference after the game, and I quote, "If I was a recruit and I saw that, I'd double down on why I'd want to come. Get in here and make a difference." No, Manny, do you want to know what makes a difference? Do you want to know what reels in recruits? Winning. And I mean, a loss here against North Carolina isn't necessarily the end of the world. I mean, we only had 1 loss coming into this game against the number 1 team in the country, but it's the way we lost. I expected this to at least be a close game. And you know what? I'm not even going to do my normal, here's some positives, here's some negatives. Number 1, because I'd be pretty hard pressed to come up with some positives from this game. But number 2, I'm just not feeling it. We're going to go over to ESPN.com. Don't you go anywhere, because I know Canes fans, this is hard to look at. It's hard to digest. It's hard to swallow. Flip that around the other way. We're going to look at the stats really quick for this game, and then I'll touch on a few other things, and we're going to wrap it up. Oh, man, I feel sick every time I look at this. First downs for this game, North Carolina 30, Miami 15, so twice as many first downs. Third down efficiency for us, 4 of 12. Total yards of offense in this matchup, 778 for North Carolina. These are NCAA 14 video game type numbers, Madden numbers, but they did this in real life to us. Miami, 314 yards. Passing, but if you look at it, about the same, 224 for North Carolina, 239 for Miami, but this is where it gets messy and real ugly. 554 rushing yards for North Carolina. Only 75 for Miami. That's all we could muster up. 7 penalties for us for 68 yards, 5 for 50 for North Carolina. No, not that big of a deal for each of them. Some dumb penalties for us, though. Time of possession. Bro, 19 minutes and 41 seconds for us. 40 minutes and 17 seconds for North Carolina. Let's hop over to the box score real quick. It's insane. As I said, only 19 passes for Sam Howell. We know that they posed a threat through the air, but when they run the ball successfully, they don't even need to throw the ball. And when they run the ball successfully, they typically win, which they also proved right tonight. De'Aaron King was 18 of 30 for 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Rushing, as I said, for us already, super disappointing. Chaney and Harris just couldn't get it going. De'Aaron King had twice as many yards as our RB1, Cameron Harris. Man, Michael Carter and Javonte Williams, I absolutely say they are the best 1-2 punch in all of college football. 308 yards for Carter, 236 for Williams. You realize between those two backs, they averaged over 10 yards per carry. It's more or less basically a guaranteed first down if North Carolina would hand off the ball. I know it's not exactly how it works, but you get the analogy, what I'm trying to say here. Receiving, I mean, Brevin Jordan had a pretty good day, and Harley had a pretty decent day. Jordan, 6 receptions, 140 yards. Harley, 6 receptions, 77 yards. Everybody else was MIA. Harley's definitely our return guy, by the way. Defensive stats are actually up already. So Bubba Bolden led the way with 8 solo tackles. Our linebacker play was poor. What the heck is McLeod doing? He's supposed to be the senior. I sound like a broken record. I say this time and time again. I'm just venting. Did we get any sacks in the game? One sack. We said we needed 5+ sacks. We needed to get pressure on Howell. He had all flipping day to throw the ball. North Carolina had 3 sacks against us. Anything else notable? Not really. Borregales hit his field goal. I mean, that's awesome. Headley had a couple of good punts, but I don't even know who their punter is. No North Carolina punting. I couldn't tell you his number. I couldn't tell you his name. I couldn't tell you a darn thing about him because they didn't have to punt the ball. At one point, I specifically remember North Carolina converting on a 2nd and 26 on the ground. That shows you how confident they were in their run game. And boy, oh boy, I should have stuck with my gut because in my preseason prediction, I put this game as a question mark and I was heavily leaning towards a loss. And then I said, you know what? The Canes are going to pull out the dub. We're blacked out. Miami Nice 2.0 back at Hard Rock Stadium on our turf. I was like, it's going to be a close one. I respect the North Carolina offense, but we're going to keep it close. And I even made fun of them. I said the team that lost to FSU. Well, guess what? Now we're the team that lost to the team that lost to FSU. So I honestly think that's even worse. So I took my first L in my score predictions this season. I never got the scores completely right, but we were 100% correct on our wins and losses, and this one, though, I was way off because we already saw the final score, North Carolina 62, Miami 26. That doesn't sound better rolling off the tongue, but it's actually, trust me, it's even worse than it sounds, the 26 for Miami. I mean, at one point, North Carolina had in, I think, their full second-team offense, and they were still able to do anything they wanted to do to us. It was bad. So as I said, guys, I normally dive way deeper into these, but this reaction video post-game is going to be more covering brief stats, and it was just me venting about the game. I am going to say that overall, though, as hard as it is to think this right now, give us a couple of days, a week or two after the early signing period, whatever. It's going to take a little bit of time. This was still an improvement over the 2019 season. I mean, we're looking at 8-2 as opposed to 6-7 last year. Now, of course, we don't know the outcome of our bowl game yet, so we're going to see how that goes, but you can most likely kiss the Orange Bowl goodbye. We'll probably get something like the Outback Bowl or the Camping World Bowl, maybe against like a Big 12 opponent or something like that. To sum it up, at the end of the day, we had an opportunity to make a statement and finish strong, and once again, I'm getting used to saying this, and it sucks, we just couldn't do it. Hopefully no recruits back out after this horrible, terrible, embarrassing, disgusting loss. But to be completely honest, the kids that were going to sign on early signing day, which is literally next week, depending on when you're watching this, if they back out because of this one game, as much of a beatdown as it was, they were probably 50-50 or on the fence already. Now, unfortunately, though, I was told that potentially there was a guy at this game whose name just so happens to rhyme with cake. I don't know if that actually happened or not, but if it did, This wasn't a good environment and was definitely not a good look for us. So please don't think that this channel has now just become full of negativity, but I've definitely got a vent, and it's the heat of the moment. We're literally talking, this is 30 minutes after the game just ended, so I'm still in my feelings a little bit, and you are more than welcome to vent down in the comment section below. I make it known on this channel that you can speak your mind. North Carolina fans, you can come in here and talk your trash. You earned it. You beat our booty, and I have no comeback to you or response. So people say a lot of times in the live hangouts, Coop, like, people are so negative, and that you got to remember, it's the heat of the moment. You're going to vent your frustration. And as I said, I do think, yes, I'm on the fire Blake Baker bandwagon. I don't want this whole coaching staff fired. I mean, look at the circumstances. Look at our record. I don't want Manny Diaz fired. What happens if you continue to just fire is you end up in a constant rebuilding state, and things never really get much better. You can have some quick fixes and some band-aids, but then other things go wrong. You're just covering up a bunch of leaks with band-aids. However, I just can't see Blake Baker being successful with the way this defense operates. We caught a lot of breaks early on in this season, and North Carolina just fully exposed us. I mean, if records are being broken against your defense, video game type numbers, there's an issue there that it just can't be fixed, guys. Remember though, guys, as tough as it is, man, this was our last regular season game. We're all still one big happy college football family, but at the end of the day, I gotta say, it's always better when you get to rep still the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see you guys for early signing day.